Whoops, there we go. What's happening, everybody? How are you guys? Welcome to class number 2 of our AI ads machine. I hope that everyone is doing really well today. We'll get this show on the road right this second, and we will go from here. All right, cool. So let me actually jump into the I'm going to jump into the topic for today, which is going to be how to prune and optimize ads using AI. All right, so let me open everything that I have to open here, and we will go from there. All right, so just a second, guys. I had everything open here, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we go. All right, perfect. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. So let me share my screen and we will get these show on the road. All right, cool. So welcome to class number 3. All right, class number 3 of the AI ads machine. Today, we're going to be focusing on pruning and optimizing Facebook ads. And as I keep on telling you, we're going to be using both the ads manager to do this. And we're also going to be using some of the stuff that it's already populating on these tools that I talked to you guys about, like Magix and RevealBot and whatnot. And I'm going to walk you guys through our process to actually know and understand how and when to optimize and prune our Facebook ads. Okay, so class 3 is going to be all about this. And then class 4, we're going to be talking about scaling, different scaling techniques and different methodologies. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about optimizing and pruning. So with that being said, using AI to launch and prune and optimize ad campaigns. All right, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. And here's what we did. Last week, what we did was to launch a set of ad sets, okay, that we're going to, I haven't touched them. All right, I haven't touched them since we launched them. So last week, we launched a set of ads, okay, and a set of copy creators and whatnot that was all created by AI. All right. And today we're going to optimize, we're going to cut, and we're going to prune. Okay, so here's something that you want to have in mind when you're launching. When you're launching a campaign, when you're launching an ad set from scratch or a campaign from scratch, the way we did last class, you want to leave them be. You want to leave it be. All right. The reason behind it is because, and this is an issue that I see a lot of entrepreneurs going through when it comes to running their Facebook ads, is that they start a campaign and then they stop a campaign and then they start a campaign and they stop a campaign, they start a campaign and stop a campaign. And that can potentially bite you in the ass. Why? Because the advertising platforms are momentum based. What does that mean? That means that they need momentum in order for them to get the results that you want. Okay, they're momentum-based platforms. Google, Facebook, pretty much every platform that has machine learning embedded, right? Any platform that has machine learning embedded in them is momentum based. So you need to leave things be for a little bit. In fact, when we were going through the optimization, the potential optimization for this class, I had a conversation with David and he was like, oh, dude, we need to prune. And I'm like, no, leave it be, because I'm going to be pruning this for this class. So whenever you're launching something, you want to leave things for anywhere between 72 hours, that is 3 days minimum, without touching them, okay, without touching any ad set or anything, up to a week. It also depends on how big of your budget is, right? The bigger or the larger of a budget is when you're launching, the faster you can make a decision. So you could be cutting after 24, 48 hours. But the main point is that you want to leave things at, especially with the configuration that we launched last week, you want to let things run for anywhere between 72 hours and 1 week. Here's why. When we do 72 hours to a week without touching anything, so 3 to 7 days without touching anything after we launch, what we're doing is we're accounting for volatility. You will notice that on Facebook, and sometimes on other platforms as well, but specifically on Facebook, we have a lot of volatility. We have a lot of volatile days. So if you're cutting too soon, you might be being a victim of volatility. What do I mean? I mean that you want to let things run because some days will work better than others. If you enter in the auction, if you enter in the ad sets, or if you launch your ad sets in a in a time of high volatility, then your ad sets will not have any results. Now, if you cut them, you're hindering the opportunity for them to go back to normal. So again, one day your ad sets will be good, one day will be bad, one day will be good, one day will be bad. That's called Facebook volatility. It's normal. It's the way the platform works. And I see a lot of people disabling or cutting or stopping ad sets just because they had a rough day or a bad couple days, okay? So you want to account for volatility. You also want to account, this is not a lot of people talking about this, but you also want to account for weekend versus weekdays traffic. If you launch a campaign on Thursday or on Friday, weekday traffic and weekend traffic behave differently. So that means that on weekends, you will have some results, and on weekdays, you will have some other results. So having a full 7-day cycle allows your campaigns to go through the weekends and then go back into the week. Now, people are also not checking their phones so much on Mondays versus Fridays versus Thursday. So you want to account that when it comes to your ads, because maybe your ads, they won't work as well on a Monday, but they pick up on a Thursday, right? Depending on what type of product or service you're selling. So you want to account for volatility. You want to account for weekdays and weekend traffic. And you also want to account for pixel freshness. We started a campaign from scratch. We started with a brand new lead magnet, brand new campaign, brand new pixel, brand new everything. When you're starting from scratch, you want to account for pixel freshness. I'm going to dive a little bit more into this next week on our week on scaling, because what happens is that the more your pixel gets seasoned and the better it becomes, the more stable your campaigns will be. Okay. So when a pixel is new, a campaign is new, and everything is new, what's happening is that you will have a lot of volatility because Facebook doesn't know who to show your ads to. And as they go forward in their machine learning and the AI algorithms, then it's going to be better and more stable. Your campaigns are going to be much stable. So for example, if I launch on an ad set, on an ad account that has been aged versus a brand new ad account versus a brand new pixel versus a pixel that has some data behind it, my CPMs, my cost per click, my everything will be different. So you want to account for pixel freshness. All right. Now, again, cutting too soon is a problem that a lot of entrepreneurs and advertisers have. You want to let Facebook and Google optimize. You want them to have some momentum, because otherwise it's not going to work. Okay. And you will be spending money without getting the results. And now we're going to go into our red, yellow, green strategy from the ads manager. Now, it is really important that in order for you to determine what a red, what a yellow, what a green is, you want to always know your KPIs. Okay. For this specific experiment that we're running right now, we're going to be basing our decisions on cost per lead, right? We're going to be basing our decisions on cost per lead. We want to pay for Learn Marketing AI and the AI Marketing Hub. We want to pay less than $10 per lead. If we're less than $10 per lead, we're good. Okay. So based off of that, we're going to use our red, yellow, green strategy. All right. And we're going to do a walkthrough of this on the ad account. But I also want to share with you guys how to do this on Magix and on RevealBot. And then also, since we started, Magix has added some AI recommendations that we're going to be deploying for this account as well. And then we'll see next week how they do. All right. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Okay. So this is the campaign that we launched last week. Okay. So again, ad sets that go to a report. All right. And this is something that we have going on. Again, we spend around $700, $100 a day. I haven't touched it ever since. Okay. So last Wednesday around this hour, we launched this campaign. $10 a day, 10 ad sets. I haven't touched them. That's why we spent around $700 on this campaign. And as you can see already, I have some ad sets that I can go ahead and prune. So if we take a look at this, we can immediately decide based on our cost per lead. Let me switch this to my ROI tracker. Okay, let me switch this to my ROI tracker right here. So let's take a look. All right. So as you can see, we have our columns here, right? We didn't get any purchases, but again, we didn't get a lot of leads as of yet, but we are starting to get some traction. Now, immediately, we need to see this from the perspective of the red, yellow, and green, okay? Red, yellow, green, what do I mean? In any case, in every campaign that you're running, there's going to be some campaigns and some ad sets in this case that are red, meaning they're way over KPI. They're over 50 to 100% over KPI. Those ad sets are red. So when you have an ad set that's over, and again, on this case, our KPI is under $10 per lead, right? There are going to be some ad sets and some campaigns that are over 50% to 100% our KPI. So in this case, if we say 50% to 100% over KPI, that means in any case where we're paying $15 or more per lead, right? So all of a sudden, I can pinpoint 3, this one right here, social media marketing. Let's see, this one right here, marketing strategy, so $17.52. And then we have this one, which is advertising campaign, $23.33. Those are my red ad sets. So I'm going to take a screenshot out of this. So let me actually grab my handy dandy like shot. All right. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this to show you guys what do I mean. There we go. And you guys should be able to see this, right? So if I mark them by red, actually, let me make sure that you guys are seeing this. You should be able to, but I'm going to do this real quick. So if I mark them by red, then we have red here on the social media marketing. We have red on the advertising campaign one, and we have red on the marketing strategy one. Okay. So these are my red. So I'm just going to name them red, and then I'm going to open it for all you all. Just 1 second so that we see the reds. Okay. There we go. So these are my reds. Okay. So I just marked them. Social media marketing is my red, 3460. Marketing strategy is my another red, and advertising campaign is another red. Why? Because again, these are over 50 to 100% over KPI. All right. Now let's take a look at the yellows. So the red ones, generally speaking, you're going to just stop them. Okay. The red ones, you're just going to prune them. Now let's go into the yellows. The yellows are the ones that I might keep on running because they're under 50 to 100% over KPI, but they are still over my KPI, or they're right at my KPI. Okay. So the yellows are going to be the top ones, small business owners, $14. It's over my KPI. Then we have online advertising and advertising. So we have 1133 and 1413, right? And then we have advertising agency, which is 1176, and digital marketing, 1164. So I'm going to name this yellow. Okay. So now I have my reds, I have my yellows. Why? Because the difference between the reds and the yellows is that I'm going to stop all the reds. I'm going to don't touch the yellows, because a yellow might go from one end or the other end, meaning it might tilt to one end or to other end. It might happen that, for example, on this one, online advertising, on this one right here, online advertising, I might get, an extra through 2 leads, and then I will be within KPI. Or it might happen that it might go over $15 or $16 per lead. So that means that I need to stop it. So the main thing is that the red ones, we're just going to stop from off the bat. The yellow ones, we're just going to keep them stable. We're not going to do anything. And then we have the greens. Okay. And then we have the greens, and the greens are the ones that are under KPI. So if you have an ad set, let's say that my cost per lead, or my goal cost per lead, my ideal cost per lead is $10. If I have an ad set that is exactly at $10, I'm going to put it as yellow, because if I bump up the budget, if I scale, which again, we're going to be talking about scaling next week, but if I scale that ad set, there's a high chance that I will go over my KPI. So anything that it's at KPI and a little bit over, up to 50%, I'm going to put it as yellow. Over 50%, right? So it will be $15 in this case. Over 50% is going to be red. And then anything under KPI, on this case, we have 2, entrepreneurship and content marketing. Those are going to be my green ones. And these are the ones that I'm going to scale. Okay. These are the ones that I'm going to scale. So we have, again, our red ones, which I'm going to stop right away. Our yellow ones, which I'm not going to do anything with. I'm just going to keep them stable. And my red ones, which is I'm going to scale. So I'm going to scale them a little bit today, but again, we're going to go into scaling in a little bit more detail next week. All right. So with that being said, let's just go through the reds. Okay, so this one right here, and this one. And by the way, I could do last 7 days. We've only been running this for 7 days, but that will change the mechanics a little bit, but they're still over KPI, right? So I'm going to include today's data as well. Generally speaking, for this type of funnels, which are lead generation funnels or PDF funnels, I want to do on a rolling last 7 days. Okay. If it was running traffic for, let's say, a webinar or something like that, I might give it, last 14 days. But in this case, we're going to do last 7 days. So I'm just going to go with stopping this. Okay. So red one, and red one. I'm going to go here and turn off. Boom. So I just turn them off. All right. So my red ones, I'm going to turn them off right away. Now, the ones that are yellow, now take a look at this one. This is 1062. It's at KPI. It's at KPI for 62 cents. Okay. So it's at KPI. I'm not going to disable it. Nor I'm going to do anything with it. Now, here's another one, advertising. Now, if I include today data, sometimes you want to do this. Advertising goes down because it got another lead. This is what I'm telling you guys. The yellows, you don't want to touch them because they can start going down or they can start going up. So I'm just going to put it as yellow. But here we got a yellow, here we got a yellow, and here we got a yellow, and here we got a yellow. All right. So these ones, I'm not going to do anything. Just going to keep them running. I disable the ones that are on the top end, and then the rest ones, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to keep them running. And then we had this one, right? Entrepreneurship, which is 887, pretty good, and content marketing, which is 783. All right. What do? I'm going to go to edit, and then I'm going to go to budget, and I'm going to increase my daily budget by 20%. All right. That's one way of scaling. Again, we're going to go deep into scaling and other ways of scaling next week. But this is what's called vertical scaling, which is grabbing the budget of an ad set or campaign that's working and bumping it up 20% every 48 hours. Again, next week, I'm going to share with you some additional ways of scaling, horizontal scaling, lookalike scaling, manual bid scaling, and all of that. But this is when it comes to pruning, this is what we're going to be doing. All right. So again, just to recap, we disable our reds. We didn't do anything with our yellows. We just keep them stable because a yellow can become a red or can become a green. That's why it's a yellow, right? We never really know. It's like stopping on a traffic sign or a traffic light, and you don't know where it's going to go. It might go up, it might go down, right? So we just keep them running. And the green ones, we're definitely scaling. Let me do the same with this other ad set or campaign that we had running before we jumped into this. Now, on this case, these two are yellow, right? These two are yellow right here. And by the way, we're making a competition between my ad sets, which are at $7, and ChatGPT ad sets, which are almost double. Okay. If I take a look at my ad sets, it might be because, well, unique outbound CTR is there. So cost per unique outbound click here is a little bit higher, and here's a little bit lower. So it doesn't have to do with CTR, but for some reason, people are clicking on these ads. We're paying $7.82, right? We have, if I go back, this is something that we did, right? So in this case, we spent $20, no lead. So I disabled them. And these two are yellows. We didn't scale them. And then this one right here, it's already on the second round of scaling because we bump it up $12, then 14 something, whatnot. So this is a green, a big green, and these two are yellows. That's why they're stable. All right. So this is the way that we do it for pretty much any type of ad set that we're running to a conversion objective. All right. So red, yellow, green, when it comes to running ads within the ads platform, we do this for every client, every single time we go in. That's what I look for. Red, yellow, green today, red, yellow, green today, tomorrow, red, yellow, green, the day after, red, yellow, green, right? I stop my reds, I scale my greens, I don't do anything with my yellows, and I keep on repeating that process. Okay. So that's when it comes to the ads manager. Now let's go into Magics. And here's something that it wasn't available last week because we just added our campaigns, right, into Magics and whatnot. But now we have the AI recommendation. Okay. So 8 recommendations are waiting for you. So it's your personal AI marketer. I really like this about Magics. This is a new thing. So it's giving me all of these options. It's giving me all of these options to target. Now, some of these are going to be relevant. Some of these are not going to be relevant. Like, for example, target Instagram profile engagers. We have a really small Instagram on Learn Marketing AI or the AI Marketing Hub. So, there's not a reason for us to target Instagram profile engagers or page engagers for that matter. Okay. We're going to talk about that next week. So I'm not going to do that. Now, what I do want to do is this one test for content creators that weren't delivered. It's also not relevant because this ad account right here, as you can see, had a lot of prior stuff that is not related to this campaign. So Magic is bringing that up. So if you start from a brand new ad account, then this might not happen. Fix your tracking and attribution is what we talked about last week. Sorry, it was Magic's using its own tracking and attribution. So some of this I can get rid of. Okay, so some of this I can get rid of. So fix your tracking, target profile engagers. We're not going to do it right now because again, we don't have a big following as of yet. Now, there's some of these that might be a good idea, right? Some of these might be a good idea, especially because if I go to my events manager, right? If I go to my events manager where all of my events are going to live, if I go to my events manager, I should be able to see what type of events and how many events we already have, right? So if I go here, so far we've gotten 1,100 view contents. Okay, so people visiting our page. So almost 1,100, which is pretty good. All right, so these are people visiting our page. Then we had 133 leads. And by the way, these are all server-side basis. Remember that last week we talked about the importance of having a third-party tracking. I integrated Kartra with AnyTrack. So, this is pretty good. It's coming out good. The event much quality. It's all server space. And then we have purchases, which are also server space, right? So we have purchases. So now we're starting to collect data. Now, what I want to do is I want to start creating lookalike audiences. And again, next week, we're going to be talking deep into this. But I just wanted to go ahead and take a look at what Magic has in terms of our recommendation. So let's actually start with create a super lookalike from your top events. Okay, let's see what that happens. Okay, let's see what that does. So in this case, as you can see, we have our events here, right? We have page views, we have view content, we have leads. So basically, we're going to be creating a lookalike audience out of view content. Now, I can also create a lookalike audience out of page views, right? So view content and page views, I could do that. And now, let's see. Yeah, so this is the pixel, the Learn Marketing AI pixel. This is my brand pixel. So we had a bunch more of data there, but I'm just going to create a lookalike audience out of page visitors for now. All right. So I'm going to create super lookalike, and boom, I guess that's done. Right? So yeah, so there it is. So the suggestion, has been launched. So now if I go to my audiences, it should show up here because we just created a super lookalike audience out of Magic's interest. So probably it's still in the works. So let's see if it launched any campaigns. I don't think it would right up here. No, so probably it's already working, and it should show up here. If it show up, I'll let you guys know. All right. So with that being said, that's our first thing that Magic recommended. The other one, super lookalike audience missing. So let's see details. High potential prospects by lookaliking top performance audiences. All right. So these are our top performance. So HV or website visitors, I'm going to do that one. IG engagers, Facebook engagers. So these are all of the engagers for my own personal brand. All right. So that's going to create our super lookalike. Let's see if we have any others. I think that's good. But these are the audiences that we have in this account. Okay. So excuse me. All website visitors, IG engagers, and Facebook engagers, we're going to create a super lookalike audience for that. Okay. So I'm going to click here, create super lookalike. And then I guess that's it. Yeah. So that will be it. Let's see. Now that's enough customer space to create a super lookalike. Again, we're going to go into lookalike next week. Targeting Hub will help you reach high potential prospects. Select the events you want to create lookalike audience based on. All lookalikes created will be launched into a single ad set. All right. We'll see what Magic does. Sometimes we need to give it some time, but I think it will create the audiences and launch an ad set for those audiences. I would believe. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, we're in the right. Probably it's still creating them. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Okay, so here we go. Audience not create. Oh no, these are 2020. So I'm not going to pay attention to those. All right, cool. So it's probably creating them. All right. And now launch interest targeting testing campaign. This is what this does. Okay. See details. Testing new interest is a new way to reach. It's an excellent way to reach new audiences. AI marketer found some interest that can help you reach the people. We'll launch a new testing campaign with a bunch of interest in each ad set for large-scale testing use, the same creative in each ad set to ensure pure audience testing, okay? So these are the ad set 1, ad set 2, ad set 3, and then it can create new ad sets. I'm not going to do this because this is part of our next class, but I think this is pretty good, okay? I think this is pretty good. Let's see this one, stop loss. Okay. You could have saved 251. Yes, of course. You know why I didn't save them? Because I didn't want to touch the campaigns. Okay. So ad spend today, more than $1, more than $21. Outbound clicks today, active ads. So the last thing you want is to wait your budget on ads that don't drive any clicks. If you spend enough money and give the ad enough time, but it still doesn't have any clicks, it's time to pause for the day to protect your budget. Okay. So this is like a stop loss that Magix will do for us for ads with no clicks. I'm not going to do it. All right. So I'm just going to get rid of this. This one, I might do it later. So I'm just going to leave it there. All right. So these are the optimizations that Magix is recommending. Again, we're going to take a look once they go in effect. Let's actually see. Probably it's just creating the lookalike audience. Let's double check. Sometimes these tools, they do require, especially Magix, they do require a little bit of time, you know, to work. But anyways, it didn't seem that it do much. So I'll check back and go from there. All right. But this AI thing is pretty cool. Now let's go to Reveal Bot and let's create a rule so that if my CPL, it's over $10 for the day, all right, or for the last 7 days for a specific ad set, then it's going to stop the ad set. So I'm going to create a rule here on Reveal Bot. So I'm just going to create from scratch. All right. So ad account, that's fine. Perfect. Cost per website leads, $12 overall. So here's what we're going to do. All right. So we're going to do ad sets. Ad set status is active. All right. And then we're going to do this. Instead of notify, we're going to click pause. So we're going to do pause. But instead of this, it's going to be cost per lead, website lead. Over the past 7 days, including today, it's over $10 or over $15, okay? Because that's going to turn an ad set into a red one, into a red ad set, okay? So anything over $15 is going to turn my ad set into a red one. So when cost per website lead over the last 7 days, if $15, just pause, okay? Now this, we're going to run it every day, every 24 hours, okay? And I think that's it. Yes, I think that's going to be it. So run every 24 hours. I don't want to get alerts. Ad account time zone, that's fine. Attribution, use ad set attribution. That's cool. Oh, it does give you 28-day clicks, 7-day view. But yeah, let's do ad set attribution, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Okay, so ad set attribution. And now what's going to happen is that every 24 hours, RevealBot is going to grab those ad sets that are over $15. That might include the ones that we left active today. Okay, the ones that we left active today is, so if over the past 7 days, including today, last 7 days, including today, this one goes over $15, then RevealBot is going to check tomorrow and going to stop it for me. Okay, so I'm going to set it live. Now, again, I'm not working on, let me rename this real quick. So I'm going to stop ad sets with CPL over $15 every 24 hours. Okay. You could also do this in the Facebook ads dashboard, but I like RevealBot a little bit better. It's a little bit better when it comes to how easy it is to set up the rules here. But what's going to happen is we're going to stop those ad sets with a cost per lead over $15 every 24 hours. Okay. So every day, RevealBot is going to go here, it's going to check for ad sets that are over $15 and it's going to stop them because again, that's going to turn them into a red ad set, right? Now, yellows, we don't want to touch them. Green, we want to scale them. And next week, we're going to go into scaling. And then I'm going to set up some rules here. I'm going to set up some rules in Matrix as well to start scaling and then going from there. Okay. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. Let me stop sharing and let me stop the recording.